guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I have my May TBR. Now this is ridiculously large and I know that I'm not going to read all of the books on this TBR, and I'm also not going to spend a lot of time today in this video telling you guys what the majority of these books are about, because I just did not have a great reading month in April. I didn't read a whole ton to start off with. Like I read a decent amount but not a great amount, and I also just deviated off my TBR. So a lot of the books on my May TBR are books that I was hoping to get to in April and I just didn't. So yeah, it's guaranteed that we're not going to get to everything that I should be reading or need to read in May. So this video will pretty much just serve as a reminder of what I'm going to be choosing from, and we'll see what happens. At the beginning of May, it's my birthday. I still don't know what my plans are for my birthday, but I will be doing something at least. And I also have a trip at the end of May. I'm going to Rare, which is a romance festival in Edinburgh, and I think that will mean that I'll be away from home at least 4 or 5 days, and then I have a gig on the very last day of May as well. I'm going to see Mayday Parade. Lots of things going on, but I'm hoping in between all of that to get some reading done. I do have a pretty interesting video. Well, I'm saying it's interesting. I want to do a little bit of an experiment in a video, and if I do manage to find the time to do that in May, it will mean that I do have a lot of reading time. So fingers crossed that I actually manage to make that video. So we'll start off with a couple of new additions to this TBR, and these ones are books that I need to read pretty early in the month. The first one is Misrule by Heather Walter. This one is the art copy that was sent to me by Del Rey, so thank you very much to Del Rey for that. I do have a finished copy that has arrived once again from Del Rey that I haven't opened yet, but the release date on this I believe is the 10th, and I am actually part of the book tour for this one. I think my day is the 5th, which I remember because that is my birthday, and I'm going to be doing that over on Instagram, so I would definitely like to have read the book before then. So I might actually start this. I'm filming this at the end of April, so I'll probably start this before the month begins. But this one is the final book in a duology that is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty from the perspective of the evil fairy that curses her. It is a, I want to say it's like a new adult YA kind of fantasy. There's not a whole ton of stuff in here that isn't suitable for a YA audience, but as it's published by Del Rey, it is automatically adult. But I would say that it's definitely in the crossover, and there's not anything that's like super dark in here. But we're following a fairy called Alice who's known as the Dark Grace, and in this world we have graces who bestow gifts and blessings upon people. So you have graces that specialize in health and beauty, and Alice specializes in curses, and because of this she's treated terribly, even though her nature and her magic is not her fault. It is a sapphic romance as well. Like the bulk of this is about Alice and Aurora, and while I didn't adore the first book, I think I gave it like 3.5 stars, the ending intrigued me and I'm interested to see where the story goes from there. So this will probably be the first book that I read in May. I also have to read Fool's Assassin by Robin Hobb for Elderling Long. I believe the live show for this isn't concrete because I need to just double check that everybody is down for it, but I think the live show for this is going to be on the 15th of May, and this is the Elderling Long book for March and April. So this is the first book in the Fitz and the Fool trilogy. We're nearly at the end of the Realm of the Elderlings. I actually just really don't know the plot of this because I'm so far into the Realm of the Elderlings now. I haven't looked like what the actual focus of this is going to be, but we're picking up with Fitz in his, I think he's in his 50s or 60s now, which is so sad because in the first book in the Realm of the Elderlings I think he's like 6, 7 or 8, like really young, and I know that this series is going to break me, so I'm a little bit nervous to start it. But this is adult epic high fantasy following a guy called Fitz who is the bastard son of the prince in waiting. Fitz's maternal grandfather drops him off on the doors of the keep and says that he wants him to return to his father, and when Fitz's father finds out that Fitz is on his way to him, he abdicates the throne and moves to the countryside. So Fitz is then raised partially by the stable master up until he reaches an age where the king takes an interest in him and starts training him to be the royal assassin. So it is very political. It's about the politics of the Six Duchies, which is the country where this series is set. We also have a couple of different types of magic in here. One allows you to talk to other people and like see across vast distances, and one allows you to communicate with animals. Some of the series in the Realm of the Elderlings aren't following Fitz, they're following other characters in different parts of the world, and it's really interesting throughout this whole like 15-16 book thing how Robin Hobb ties it together, showing you different perspectives on the magic and the history and following different focuses while still building a wider picture of the world. And based on the events of the Rainworld Chronicles, I'm really excited to see what happens in regards to fits, because a lot of things have changed. And this one was a gift from Ashlow, so thank you very much to Ashlow for that. I still have my Patreon pick from April that I didn't get to, which was Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames. This one was Claire's pick, and this one is an adult fantasy. I believe it's quite humorous, following a band of mercenaries who are, they're over the hill now, they've retired, but one of their daughters goes missing, so her father tries to get the band back together again to find out what's happened to his daughter. This has been recommended to me by so many people. I hope that I love it. I can be funny about humor in books. I like my books and my fantasy to be quite dark, serious and moody, so that's the only thing that I'm really nervous about, but I do have a very good feeling about this. I think I am going to enjoy it. So now I need to pick out my Patreon pick for May. Did I just lose one? I did. Every member of my inner circle tier gets to recommend me a book that goes into this little pot, and every month I pick out a book, and that is the book that I have to read. Books in here range from like adult epic fantasy to fantasy romance, so it could be literally anything, but let's go with this one. And this one is, oh, okay, this is Azumanga Daioh by Kiyohiko Zuma. That is probably like a butcher pronunciation. I will research how to say that like before I actually read the book, but this one is Anna's pick and it is a manga. That's all I know, so I'm gonna look it up. Okay, so Goodreads says that this is a manga about a teacher, and it is about her students and how she's like trying to like teach them but also like support them in life things and also learning. It's one of those manga that I tend to really like, which is kind of off brand for me because it's not my usual in terms of other formats, but it's like a contemporary that's a little bit more hard hitting, like an emotional contemporary kind of manga. Never heard of this until Anna put it into the jar, and I'm always up for more manga recommendations. So volume 1 of this is only 172 pages, so it's actually a pretty good one to be adding to this TBR, and hopefully that means that I'll actually be able to get to it in May and catch up on my Patreon picks. So thank you very much to Anna for recommending this one. The next round of the live 48-hour bookoplathon is coming up. I'll put the announcement up here if you guys haven't seen it, but 2 prompts have been revealed for that so far, and in the video I said that for the short book prompt I was going to read Rat Queen's volume 8, The God Dilemma. This one is the final installment in an adult high fantasy comic series following like these boozy battle maidens for hire who, after one bar fight too many, are arrested and they have to perform quests for the realm to earn their freedom. The plot does evolve quite a bit from that point, but that's the basic premise. But then I realized, because one of the prompts is to read a short book under 300 pages and the second prompt is gods, and I realized after filming that video that the title of volume 8 is The God Dilemma. So I think that I'm actually going to move this over into the god prompt. It's a comic, so it won't take me long, perfect for a 48-hour readathon, and this one will have me finally finishing / catching up on the Rat Queen series. There have been no volumes published in this series since this one. There's no word of any, but I don't think there's like any definitive information that it is 100% done and never coming back. And this one was a gift from Linda, so thank you very much to Linda for that. Because I've moved that one over into the god prompt, I mean I could double up on that one, but I am hosting the first round of sprints for that, the first 4 hours, and it's not going to take me 4 hours to read a comic, so I do need to pick another book. So for short book I'm actually going to be going with one of my Bookopoly books, which is Sunreach by Brandon Sanderson. This one is the first of the Skyward novellas. It's 208 pages, and I actually don't know what these are about. I just know that I need to read them before I can continue with the Skyward series. Skyward is Brandon Sanderson's young adult sci-fi. It's following a young girl called Spencer who wants to join the Flight Academy to help defend her planet from aliens. However, her father was branded a deserter when she was quite young, so all of the authorities will do anything they can to stop Spencer from being able to enroll, and she faces a lot of hardship because of this, and it's about like her determination to like do what she truly believes in. I think the novellas follow members of Skyward Flight, which is what I wanted more of in the second book and didn't get. So if that's true, I think I might actually really enjoy the novellas. So speaking of Bookopoly books, I have not read a single one of my Bookopoly books for April and May, so I have all of those to read in May. So we have You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. This one is an adult contemporary romance friends to lovers story, and I think the story is told across the 10 vacations that these 2 best friends have taken over the last 15 years. I also have Malice by John Gwynne. This one is a chunky one. This one was on Bookopoly for viewer recommendation, and it is an adult epic fantasy about a war between giants and humans. We also have The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. This one was for one of the books on my 30 before 30. I will be listening to the audiobook of this, so I anticipate definitely making a start on it in May, but whether I finish it, who knows. I think for scroll through Goodreads we had The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. This one is about a perfect couple who have to go to couples therapy after the wife is unfaithful and the therapist that they choose has some unorthodox practices. And the last of the Bookopoly books is Aurora's End by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This one is the final book in the Aurora cycle, which is a YA sci-fi trilogy about Squad 312, who are made up of kind of like the bottom of the barrel of the graduating class of this flight academy, and they end up on a crazy mission with a girl who has some like strange superpower type things. And then I did not get around to starting my next installment of a series in a week. This isn't happening over a week. It'll probably take me 2 weeks to do this, but I do still need to read the entire Greenbone saga by Fondly. So we have Jade City, which is the smallest at just under 500 pages, Jade War at like 600-ish, and Jade Legacy at 700 and something. Still super excited to read these. These are an adult urban fantasy series about two clans that are fighting over the control of jade. I think that it's set on an island and the jade is a drug-like substance that enhances people's magic. So yeah, I got a lot to read. It's a lot. Let's see if I can stack this up. I have done the math on this. I don't know why, because like I said, I don't even think it's possible. These add up to, including Anna's Patreon pick, they add up to about 6,000 pages, which is a minimum of 188 pages per day, which it's not gonna happen. So I think my plan for the month is that I'm just going to plow ahead, just keep on chipping away at the stack until I make some progress. Like I said, absolutely not going to be reading everything in here. We're just gonna see what I get to. But I am excited for a lot of the stuff on here. We have a lot of chunky fantasy I'm really excited about, which will slow me down, but at least I'll have a good time while I'm reading, which I don't think... Oh, I've had one book in April that I rated over 3 stars. So I'm really looking forward to reading some books that I actually enjoy. So that was my May TBR. Down in the comments, please let me know if you've read any of these books and what you guys thought of them. But aside from that, guys, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram, Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish Candle website, the Etsy for that, and a 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.